Alright folks, so we're back, and now it's time to add the base and the lid to this box. I'm going to make sure that it's in full circle, or as close to circle as I can get it, top and the bottom, and I'm going to start to attach. So I'm going to go ahead and score this top here, top here. I just dip my rib into this water so that I already have water added, which is acting as slip. Slip is just watered down clay. And let's see, this is the bottom of my box. So I'm going to decide which of these I want for the bottom. I think I would like this one for the bottom. It really makes, I mean, you know, they're both really cute. The design's very nice on both of them. It's just a matter of taste. So again, I'm wetting my serrated rib, and I'm coming around. I'm not scoring too much, just about 1/4 of an inch around, which is the thickness of this rim right here. There we go. And now it's time to attach. Make sure we're in good full circle. Again, this is the bottom. So I'm going to attach it. I just kind of dropped it on there. Now I'm going to flip it. Ooh. Might be easier for you just to flip it and attach it this way. I don't know. I've done it both ways. I'm not really sure which one I like best. And sometimes there's a little excess. Just make sure that the inside here is perfectly circular. So I'm going to get my finger in there, and I'm going to come around. Sometimes you have extra clay on the outside, and it's because this inside wall has not reached the outside yet. So I'm going to bring you guys a little bit closer. And I'm just kind of going around and making sure that my wall is hitting the edge of the base here. And as I'm doing that, I'm going around and I'm sealing it at the same time. So I can switch cameras for a minute. You can see what I'm going to actually put it. I don't know if I want to do that. Sealing it, I'm going to switch cameras so you guys can see actually what I'm doing. Just bear with me here first. There we go. So I'm literally just running my finger around this bottom, and that's connecting it. I usually have these on a banding wheel so that I can spin it. Again, make sure your inside is really round. You don't want to end up with a wonky box. That would be a bummer. Go slow on this connection part. I'm going to lift this very carefully and put it on here. I'm a little worried that it's going to stick, but you guys will be able to see this better. So I'm going around. My inside hand is also kind of making sure that the inside is staying rounded. And I'm pushing. Okay, very good. And now I'm going to hit it with the rib. Sorry for my camera adjustments here. I don't even know if we're fully there. Oh, sorry, was I not in focus? Yikes. All right, so I'm going to hit this with the rib. And I'm just being really careful because I don't want to get rid of my texture, right? I'm just connecting this. Don't smooth your texture out. Texture is the fun part. All right, now what we have is this inside that needs to be sealed. Right? This inside needs to be sealed up. So I'm going to get a paintbrush I can also use a rubber tip tool, but I think I'm going to use a paintbrush. If I can find the paintbrush, there's one right here. And I give a little bit of water, and then I'm going to go around and seal the interior, right? So here's my little bit of water, my paintbrush, and I'm just going to go around and seal it up. You can support the outside. You're not adding a ton of water, just enough to make sure that it's sealed. Some people like to put a support coil in here. I don't usually. As long as it's really well sealed, I think that we are good to go. I'm going to hit it with a sponge because I had some little crumbs in there I want to get rid of. This is actually not a great brush because it's tiny, and a smaller brush is not really the job I want here, but it's what I had on hand, so I'm going to go for it. You go around a couple of times, and using a banding wheel is a really good idea. Make sure you're still straight, or circular, I should say, right? And you can see that you don't even see the seam on here at all. Alright, if you want to hit it with a rubber tip tool, it never hurts to make sure that you are fully secured. You do not want this popping off. That would be a super bummer. And now I'm ready for the top. So once again, I'm going to get my water and my serrated rib. I'm going to go ahead and score and slip this part here, which is going to be my top. And I'm going to, you don't want any crumbs on your work surface because you don't want it to stick to your fresh clay. I'm just smoothing my edges. And I'm going to go ahead and slip and score the edge of my lid, and once again you want to go about 1/4 of an inch because that is the thickness of the rims. There we go. Make sure it's got enough moisture and enough scoring lines. This is good to go. And now we're going to attach. So you're going to carefully drop it on here. It's going to want to sag a little bit, and that's okay. Go around with your hands and make sure I'm pushing down on that edge, making sure that there's a connection. And I'm going to flip it. I am a little bit worried that this is going to stick, so I'm going to get a board and set it I'm just going to get a board and set it on my banding wheel because I'm a little bit worried that it's going to stick. The clay is a little on the soft side, a little bit softer than I would like. Boom, it's flipped over again. So now my top is down here, right? And I'm going to go around again and seal that connection. Don't worry if you have a little extra, that's what the Sureform is going to be for. So right now we're just going around. This down here has a lot of extra clay. So I'm going to very carefully just cut a little bit. Less is more, right? You don't want to cut too much off. And we're going around again the same way we did with the base. And then I'm going to get my rib and hit that with my rib. Again, making sure that you do not smooth out your texture. Okay, at this point, you're going to leave this box alone. Do not mess with it anymore. You want to leave it alone and let it dry. It's got air inside right now that's being held in there, and it's holding the shape of the box. So you want to leave it like that until it dries a little bit more, and then we'll decide what kind of shape we want the lid to be. So you can see it from a different perspective now before we put it away. And by putting it away, I mean I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm not putting it in plastic, because if you put your stuff in plastic, it keeps it moist. So I'm going to leave it out for it to breathe and dry out a little bit. And cleanup will happen afterwards. Don't worry too much about these little crumbles. Cleanup will happen after, but that's what we got so far right there. Looking pretty cool. Looking pretty good. Make sure you're well connected. That's what the banding wheel is really good for too. All right, we're leaving it alone. We'll come back to it after it's dried a little bit longer.